Well, I still can't shed them. Yeah, how you doing?
Hey, look at that. That's awesome. Look at that.
Yeah, what's happening? You know?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another great episode. Me and Mike have a great guest. And guys, I'll first, before I introduce who the guy is, look what I have right in front of me. Look at this. A classic.
Oh, my God.
And now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Frank Stallone. Frank, how's it going, man?
It feels great. That album cover makes me feel old. I was like, how old was I? I think I was 32 when I did
You look great, though. Look at that. You look like a stud now. Look at a stud then. It's awesome.
You're looking good, man.
Well, yeah, I'm 71 now.
That's awesome. You do not look
it was really weird. I went to a birthday party for my friend yesterday, and 3 beautiful girls showed up. You know, nice girls. You know, not actresses or anything. And I said, well, how old are you? We were talking. I mean, good looking. She said 29. She goes, now I got to ask you, how old are you? I said, you don't want to know. Probably older than your grandfather, but I'm still attracted to you. You know what I'm saying? So I told her my age. She goes, oh, wow. You look good for your age. I'd rather have that than say, I'd rather have that than someone, if you're 38 and you go, God, you look like shit. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, if you're old and they say you look good, it's a lot better than someone saying, you look terrible for your age.
Well, for my age, I'm trying to look older, and I know I don't.
How old are you?
I'm 22, so.
Oh, yeah, well, Christ.
Yeah, and I'm 27. Every time I go out to eat or order a drink, they're always asking for my ID still.
Well, enjoy it while you can, because it gets to a point when hot-looking chicks are calling you sir. It's like it's over. I get what I get a lot is, God, man, my mother loves your albums. I'm going, okay. That she loves Staying Alive. So I'm saying, okay, 38 years ago. So
well, if the mother still looks, you go, come on, it's still,
Yeah, but that doesn't help me with the chick,
It doesn't help with the
because she's 37. Well, yeah, 37. That's still pretty young.
Oh my God, that movie came out when I was born. It's like, shit, that's it.
Exactly. Oh, it's over. Yeah, at that point. So that's part of the aging process, which is not fun. That will never be fun. I don't care what anybody says. They try to cover it over. Well, with age comes wisdom. I said, no, with age comes like pain, arthritis. Why do you think Viagra is such a big seller now? If people are young? No.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
but
that's awesome.
You haven't slowed down a bit, huh? I still see like shooting on Instagram, and you're probably working out still.
Oh yeah, I
love
shooting. I love that is my go-to sport, because that and archery, because it's social. You know what I mean? Get outside and you mingle with people. I mean, what I went through. With the viral pneumonia, and then before that, I had a back operation. So I mean, this last 2 years have been the pits. As far as the mask. The thing is, when you have viral pneumonia, which it's out. But the thing is, I still have some form of respiratory. So you put your mask on, I go, kill him. You want me to die? I mean, I'm having trouble as it is. Now you want to go, hey, he followed the protocol, but he dropped dead from suffocation. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But how's everything going up in Toronto? Is that where you are?
So I'm from Toronto. Mike's from Chicago. Toronto, it's good. I mean, it's okay. It's not bad. I mean,
I like Toronto. That's where you are now, right?
Yeah. Well, the weather is shit, though. That's the only thing. It's already, what is it? It's not even October yet, and it's freezing. I throw my jacket already.
Yeah, I did a lot of movies in Toronto. I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, Toronto's good. But the thing
main hangout was the Sutton. I don't think that's there anymore. I think it was off Bloor, the Sutton Hotel. That's where all the actors stayed in those days.
The Sutton, I don't know. Fuck. I mean, honestly, I barely go downtown. I live in the suburbs.
Yeah.
It's too busy. It's too busy downtown. I can't even.
Yeah. I like the way things are going here. Canada's looking better every day, because it's just the crime, and I don't know about where you guys are, but the crime is ridiculous in Los Angeles. It really is. I mean, when you're concerned about going into Beverly Hills, it's time to pack a lunch, because I mean, it's just these people coming in are crazy.
Canada's known for having, we're known to be very nice people and stuff, and it's
I found it very civilized, and I had a really good time there.
Chicago is like the opposite.
Oh gosh, Chicago's pathetic, because Chicago used to be one of my favorite towns to go to, because it has It's just a miniature version of New York, and the people are nicer, you know. But now it's just this mayor. I mean, Beetlejuice. Come on, she's an idiot. And the governor. What did he eat a whole supply of My Pillows or what? This guy's like 8,000 pounds. Yeah.
Oh my
Like
God.
you got the two. We do too. We have like the worst mayor and governor, and I think you're second, and then New York.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it for sure.
Pathetic.
Yeah. But
But
that,
you know, you have a lot of Italians though in Toronto. I think more than any other country other than Italy.
well, because me and Mike always talk about this. So in Toronto, I think not even just Toronto, in Canada, we're a generation ahead. I think that's what it is, a generation ahead. Yeah. So my parents were born in Italy and they came here in like the early to mid 60s with their parents. But Mike's like, I'm not sure.
My grandparents, yeah.
Your grandparents came here, right?
Yeah,
Mike?
exactly. So when it's your parents,
so
it's my grandparents. It's exactly.
Well, Chicago has a huge Italian population. At least it used to. But I mean,
exactly. But
that's why
Mike,
I'm impressed about
where's
Toronto.
that place that you have?
What's that place in Toronto though where I was? I think I did the show called the Johnny Lombardo Show or something, one of those things, years and years ago, probably before you were born. And it was there's a section in Toronto that they speak Italian. It's all Italian. I mean,
it's awesome.
Either St. Clair or College Street.
Maybe that's it. One of those around there. But I mean, it's heavy. You know, I thought it was orange something. Heavy Italian.
Yeah, but a lot of Italians and
Greeks.
that's why we wanted you on as well, because you're Italian, obviously, and
a lot of
even
Greeks.
Sorry,
you have a lot of Greeks. Italian.
Yeah,
you got a lot of everything.
I was gonna say Canada's very multicultural too, but even just going back to this album that I showed at the very beginning, the great looking album and everything. You have a hit song here called "Far From Over," which I love. Yeah. My parents love that song too, and I want to really talk about that, and not even just about that, but about you did the music score for "Staying Alive," the movie, right? And you know that movie was like a sequel to Saturday Night Fever. And that song "Far From Over," when me and Mike read about, it was the number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100, and
in some places it was number 1 too. So
well, yeah,
it fluctuated, like maybe Cashbox it was this, but Billboard was this.
Different areas and stuff, right? Which is really cool. And you know, I wanted to ask you a question because when we were watching your documentary, which first off, congratulations on that. That was amazing.
Thank you.
We both had the pleasure to watch it. Yeah, it was great. Was there a lot of pressure on you though to do the music score for that movie? Because I remember watching your documentary saying that the Bee Gees were originally supposed to do it, but then they kind of backed away. And then you had to.
I don't think the Bee Gees really wanted to do it in the first place. I think because the deal is Robert Stigwood was the producer of the movie and also their manager. Okay, they kind of had been there and done that with Saturday Night Fever, which is a spectacular soundtrack. Why that didn't get the Academy Award, I have no idea, but it did. What happened? There was a kind of a fallout between not my brother, but a fallout between, I think it was Travolta, like wasn't really excited about their new music, and they just said, forget it. That's kind of where I come in. But they went to Hall & Oates, they turned it down, and then they went to Billy Joel and he turned it down. So I came strolling into the studio saying, hey, listen, way before anything, I said, you think it's a chance I could get a song in the movie? And it was a resounding no. Okay. So I was kind of at the end of my, I've been professional for 15 years. So now we're talking, I've dedicated more than half my life to music. So what happened, my brother tried to placate me. All right, go write some stuff, just to kind of get rid of me, And so I took it to heart. Of course, I nixed one of the scripts as I left the studio. So I started writing. It just became a stream of consciousness. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things, because this to me was a do or die situation.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't going to happen then, and the fear, I think subconsciously though, the fear of all of a sudden waking up at 60, go, God, I have nothing to show for all these years of work. So I started writing it, and I think I kind of took on the soul of Tony Manero, because he was kind of, his character in the movies kind of like mine. He wanted to kind of make it to the big time, from where he was in Brooklyn, I was in here. And so I just started writing. It just seemed to relate, and John, he just related to it, and the rest is history. I mean, you have to understand, this is the sequel to the biggest musical film in history.
Yeah.
52 million albums. Okay. 26 million, but there were double albums, so 52 million albums, right? And I'm there, oh my God. I mean, I'm living in a crappy little apartment. I have no dough, and then all of a sudden I started writing these songs, and we went over to Travolta's house, and he was like moping the blues, what's going on? My brother's there, and he's trying to be uplifting. And there's nothing uplifting about it, because this is a huge movie on Paramount lot that might not happen after all this money involved,
Yeah.
Acting, they're ready to roll. And then across the alley, you had Flashdance, which was in worse trouble than we were. And that song ended up winning the Academy Award. What a feeling. So that's what happened. But the greatest feeling I ever had was when they said, okay, we're going to drop Far From Over. It's going to start the movie. We're going to drop it in next week. I say, you serious? So at that point, they'd only accepted one song. I say, are you serious?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Open the movie. So I was on cloud. And then after a few days, it'd be like, hey, we want to get your permission to use Never Gonna Give You Up. Then a few days later, how about Moody Girl? That would be a good one. And all of a sudden, I'm going, are you crazy? I'm like this busted out guy. And all of a sudden, I end up with 9 songs in the movie. I think the movie and a Grammy and Golden Globe nomination, which before I couldn't get arrested, right? So I think the movie got, in a way, when it came out, kind of a bad rap. But as it goes on, I get a lot of mail. People love it,
Yeah, it's become this like cult classic, actually.
Yeah.
I think people started to actually like it a lot.
It's like when I did the movie Barfly. Most people hated it when it came out, and then it became like a cult. It's like Tombstone's a cult classic, but everyone kind of liked Tombstone, which is weird because Westerns, no one was doing Westerns really,
Except for like Clint Eastwood and stuff like that.
Yeah, but not on a whole, But Tombstone's like a classic. People love that movie. A lot of people, I get emails all the time, that's like their favorite movie. They've seen it. And then they're more in shock knowing that I'm in it, because it doesn't quite look like me, Derby, the big mustache, I said, but that's part of acting, Only 2 movies I've done that I have a mustache in were Barfly and Tombstone, and also have the same name, Ed and Eddie.
Oh my God. so yeah, that would be you. Yeah, people won't forget what you were in the movie.
And they forget me in Barfly too. They don't even know me in Barfly. He goes, oh, that was you? I said, yeah.
That's awesome.
I didn't know that.
I was going to ask, is it like tough juggling between, music and acting?
Not really, because music is really my thing. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So the acting came about actually from the music. After Staying Alive, I was this young guy, about all this stuff. Then I started getting some movie roles. But I had studied acting, but I hadn't really done anything. But I had studied it.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was they started putting me in movies, small movies. My first starring role was a movie in Canada. That was my first movie, called Pink Chiquitas. It's a horrible movie, but it was so much fun. But that, believe it or not, has become a cult classic.
Yeah, I wonder why, like, because I'm a big lover. I don't know if you can tell by the background. I love the 80s and 90s, and that's what that's what drew me towards you as well. I was talking about it and everything, and like, I'm into all these movies from like the 80s and 90s that people don't like. There's I'll name you a couple. Like, for example, E.T., the Extraterrestrial. Back when it came out, back when it came out, it wasn't even that popular. But then it's
a great movie. Yeah,
great movie. Even like there's one called Little Monsters with Howie Mandel.
Yeah, it's funny.
Great movie. That Indian in the Cupboard, The Never-Ending Story. Like,
Seven Heads in a Duffel Bag is great. That's a good one. But but the thing is, I've done a lot of bad movies, more than I'd like to admit to, and I'm honest about it. I mean, but there are people your and Mike's age that have these sites, and what they specialize in is like bad films, like culty, like Ed Wood, like he did really bad movies, and
but Ed Wood was
for doing, because no one could consciously make a movie that bad. So there's a form of genius.
Have you seen an Ed Wood movie? Like, have you actually watched Plan 9
yeah.
Outer Space?
Plan 9 or Glenn or Glenda. Oh yeah, they're horrible.
They're fucking like, terrible. They are
$10,000 to make. When they have Bela Lugosi, they hire him, but he died during the movie, so they had the camera guy walk by with the cape in front of his face.
Did you watch?
What makes it so good.
You watch the Johnny Depp one, Ed Wood? Did you watch that?
Great, of it? Fantastic. He could have won. He was great. My friend Martin Landau played Bela Lugosi in that.
Oh no way!
And I did a movie. I think maybe our second or third movie, really bad, called War, Women Against Rape. And I was like this attorney that masqueraded at night as like the rapist. Yeah. And he was the judge. Okay. Now you have to understand, I'm a young guy. Mark Landau's been around forever. Great actor. He's in this shitty movie with me and I'm the star and he's just getting scale. It's Mark Landau. And Jerry Van Dyke was also in it. And they were like, they had no careers at that point, because they were older. One guy goes on to have a hit series, Coach, and Mark Landau goes on to win the Academy Award for Ed Wood. So it just shows you how weird the business is.
It is. I mean, I'm getting into it right now, actually, with the acting stuff.
Acting's fun. It's fun. It's not as much fun as it used to be because everyone's so PC now. It's like, sitting on a set with a mask. It's not as much fun. This thing ruined it for everybody.
The cell phones, yeah.
We can't get away with anything. Not that we're talking about you're going out robbing a bank, but I'm just talking about in general. You say the wrong thing, you lose your career. You give a girl a compliment, you go to jail. I mean, it's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
You gotta be careful. I know you gotta be careful everything you do, and that's why
I don't care. That's why on my Instagram, I don't care. I said, all right, throw me off. What is this gonna like ruin my life? I'll just head everyone to my website. Most people think it's hilarious. If I've posted other things, all of a sudden they like give me a warning. I said, Jesus Christ, how about the First Amendment? Mm-hmm. But that's what they've done. They've controlled that thing to squash people's rights, about everything. So, and I think people are really getting tired of it. I think people are tired of getting pushed around. You know what I mean? I think they're just had it.
Yeah, well, I think I did too. I think the way I go about my life and the way things are going, I just try to enjoy myself too. And even though a lot of the stuff has been bad throughout this year and stuff. I mean, for you, for example, even though like with this whole year of the pandemic, at least you got to do a show recently, which was good. Like at least you got to go out there. Yeah. With people. I mean, that was before you got sick, but even doing that, like, how did that? It was the
day I got sick. After the show, that night I went to the hospital.
Yeah, because we were supposed to record the next. I think we were supposed to record the next day. I think, and then you got sick.
So I performed, and so now people are going, "Wow, you did a whole concert with viral pneumonia." I said, "Well, I didn't know I had it. I don't know if I would have if I did." But but as you can see, I still have a little tickle. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, but it's okay. But hey, you sounded. I saw some clips on Instagram that Melissa posted. Her client Veronica Powers posted too. Like you sounded awesome and everything. How was that? Just that feeling of knowing that you were able to perform again in front of everybody.
It was great. No, it was fantastic. It was great. And Melissa was there, and I've known Melissa since she was 24, when she was Miss California. How about that?
I saw the pictures.
Oh no, she's smoking, man. You kidding? And she's been a really good friend for all those years. And she's
such a nice person.
She's classic, man. She is a showbiz gal. I'll tell you that. She's great though.
And her father too, Johnny Prophet.
Good singer.
Yeah. Speaking of Johnny and stuff, did you have any other people that like some predecessors that you kind of looked up to that like, Frank Sinatra even or anything?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Frank Sinatra, Bobby Darin. Of course, Tony Bennett.
I heard
Italian, right?
Yeah, Sinatra and Bennett too. They've complimented your music before, right?
Yes, he did from the Hollywood Bowl.
What was it like just hearing that?
It was pretty amazing, I must say. I was but I'd been around him quite a few times at dinner and stuff. It's like, what do you say to Frank Sinatra? I mean, it's like, hey man, want to hear my band? Not really. I mean, so I'm saying, in other words, for a guy like him that's done everything, he's won every award you could possibly win. Yeah. Presidential Medal of Freedom, Oscars, Grammys, Golden Globes, everything. I mean, but he, to me, the two most important voices of the 20th century were Sinatra and Elvis.
Yeah.
You can't say the Beatles. Well, you could do the Beatles as a group though, but that really changed. Michael Jackson was there, but he didn't really change the world. he was a little bit of a freak, you know what I'm saying? But I mean,
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra and Elvis were both also movie stars too. So they had both music and
Frank Sinatra did a movie. I actually interviewed Robert Davi. He did a movie with him called Contract on Cherry Street.
Yeah, that's right.
That Frank Sinatra did with him.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Robert. I've known Davi forever. We just talked a few days ago. He's a lot of fun to talk to. He's very bright. He's very smart.
Wise man. Yeah, he's a very wise.
Oh no, he's really, yeah. It's like, you know what? When we were on the movie set, we did a horrible movie called what was it called? It just sucked so bad I can't even remember. But it's called like Bullets or something, just crap, you know. And Bob's really funny because he takes everything very seriously. He was on the set, you know. I said, Bob, this movie's a piece of shit. Let's be honest. We're here for the, you know.
So you
money.
could tell how the movie's gonna come out just by being.
I could tell the second I walked on the set. Well, listen, sometimes, let's face it, you prostitute yourself because, you know, it's a good payday, you know? I said, look, I look at it this way. You're using my name, Stallone, to sell this piece of crap, right? Whatever it is. And so I mean, it's not like I didn't do my work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we did our work, but Bob's there like trying to break down the scenes going. I said, Bob, these are like the worst actors on the planet. There's nothing to break down. You and I, we do our thing, and that's it. I was talking to other actors who goes, you know, you should actually concentrate, you know, more. I said,
yeah, well, it's cool because even like look at people like an actor like Pauly Shore. Pauly Shore is so funny and he's so like yeah,
but he can't get arrested now. How about that? He had a big career.
Yeah, he did, but like a lot of his movies were shit. But we love him for the shit movies. He's known for that. Like, but
yeah, it's like what's his name, David Spade.
Oh really yeah, same with him. Yeah, I still love these people, and that's why like
of course.
Even if you do these shitty movies, I think you kind of just have to you acknowledge that there's shit. There's a
place for shitty movies. There's a heaven for shitty movies though, for all the. But the thing is, Jack Nicholson, one of our finer actors, totally admits he did like 30 shitty, really bad Roger Corman films. So, but there's a cult out there. Seriously, I did a movie called Terror in Beverly Hills, which is really bad. Okay, they've re-released it. It's like a cult movie. And so I'm like kind of bedazzled when I do an interview with these guys because they're going, hey man, you know what? Like, and they're talking to me like, you think it's like Citizen Kane, you know, it's a piece of shit, you know? And they're like, yeah, man, I want you to sign this thing because we're re-releasing it. I said, you're actually putting your money in this? They said, all right, whatever. But there is a whole cult out there that That's likes awesome. These kind of campy. I like them too, I think, because they're so bad. My brother, I did one movie in Calgary, and we have some pretty good actors in it. You know, Charlie Napier, Sonny Landham, good actors. So we get up to Calgary, and, you know, every 5 seconds, the weather changes, right?
Yeah. And
we're up there, and that's real cowboy country. You know, guys, hey, so you're from California, eh? You know, those guys, like the McKinchy brothers, you know, the yeah. And so we're up there, and the movie it's even the actors are kind of rebelling. That's so bad. So I wish I could get it. I can't find it. It's called Billy Lone Bear. I had a VHS of it years ago, and I took it over to my brother's house. And when I tell you, we were in a fetal position on the ground. I thought I was seriously gonna have a heart attack from laughing.
Oh my God. Is that bad?
He goes, but it's actually genius because nobody could consciously go out and make a movie that bad. But it was so bad, like an Ed Wood movie. It's funny. You know what I mean?
Because you kind of think like did he like? Yeah, it's hard to explain. But
consciously make this piece of crap. Yeah, I mean that's what it was. But the funny thing is, I said this will never get released, and it never was. That's why I'm so upset. I wish I had the tape because you should see that half of them weren't actors. A lot of them, like the bouncers, were all Canadian Football League guys. And they're like, hey, they told me to do that, eh? And like punch each other. But like the punch went like this far past this. They're terrible, like uncoordinated, like, you know.
Yeah.
So we did things on horses, and these guys were like these big lummoxes, you know, right? These horses. But but you know, you have to have fun with it. I have fun with it. I mean, I really do, even though I bitch and moan about, but I still have fun. I've had more fun on those movies than some big movies. because
awesome.
everyone's like really trying. They can't help it. They have no money to make the movie. And I kind of like working with like the young directors and stuff because they're trying to make it. You know what I mean? They're trying to.
Yeah, you got your back on the wall. You got to.
Yeah. And sometimes, Michael, I've seen guys. I did a few movies that were low budget, but they were actually really good. Barfly was low budget. That wasn't a high budget movie. But I've done some movies, Claws and some other ones. They're actually pretty good. And, it's just like nowadays it's really hard to get money, to do a movie.
So how do those compare to like the Rockies or like Staying Alive and kind of the bigger ones,
Well, Rocky was very low budget, the first one.
Yeah.
And the second one wasn't that high budget. And Rocky Balboa, which is kind of one of my favorite ones.
So yeah, same here.
True.
That was kind of low budget. Nobody wanted to make the movie. My brother had to put his own money in when you think about how big the Rocky, thing was. And so my favorites are actually Rocky 1 and Rocky Balboa.
Yeah. So like if the budget was the same, because Rocky the success it had was crazy. Like, could you tell the difference? You know what I mean? Being on set, like how it was, or do you just is it kind of like the movie comes out and it takes its own thing, or could you tell before it comes out,
Yeah, I could. Not that I'm like, Karnak the Great or anything, but just seeing the dailies when they're doing Rocky, I said, this is really good, man. Because the acting is really good and the writing was really good.
The acting's real too.
Yeah, and the writing. So the writing is really good. Burt Young told me, he said, man, the second I read this, I didn't even know, no one knew where my brother goes. I want it in. Everyone
That's
did.
awesome.
Yeah, because the writing, see, that's the key, man. And the director, John Avildsen, is great director, Save the Tiger, Joe. And he didn't need to do this low budget movie, but he read it and he got it. I think anyone involved in that movie, if it was someone else, I don't think it would have been the same.
Yeah, and you got to
perfect storm.
Yeah, and you got to do a lot of the movie, the music score for the movie.
Well, I sang on the street corner, but
yeah, I love that.
Here's the other side. Like I said, it was low budget, and I was living in an $85 a month apartment in Trenton with my group. I had a band.
Yeah.
So my brother, always knew. He used to come see me play all the time. He says, I want you to sing like I used to on the street corner a cappella. I said, all right. So there's a funny story involved with that. We were playing at a club. Shows you how poor we were. 160 minutes of music a night we'd play.
This is with Valentine, right? Your band Valentine?
Yeah. We were getting $140 a night for the whole band. Shows you how hot we were, right? So you split that 5 ways and the manager takes 20% off top. Not much.
Wow.
So my brother goes, I said, Sly, we were going to do. He goes, I don't think the guys want to do the movie because we're making $140 a night. That's a lot of money for us, a lot of chicks there. It was 1975, right? He goes, yeah, what do you mean you're not going to do them? I said, they don't want to do it. They think you're jive and stuff, so they don't want to do it. So what happens is my manager comes back and they say, well, they'll give you the 140 to do it. I said, but we're making 140. No, they said 140 each. I go, excuse me? $140 to me, that's like half a month's of work, So we went down, stood on the street corner, had a bottle of wine, a horrible neighborhood. And we sang Take You Back, hung around the set. That was it. A year later it comes out, it's nominated for 10 Academy Awards, which is unbelievable.
Oh, Frank, actually, speaking of another funny story too, a little bird told me about this too, that Sly used to carry your equipment around too.
Yeah, he did. To get in the club. Yeah, so he didn't have to pay. Him and John Hertzfeld, another director.
That's awesome.
The amp. Yeah, no problem. Because they wanted to grab it. And so you have to understand, we were like a rock band. We thought, when you're that young, you think you're so artsy fartsy and so above it and all. And he was kind of like a bodybuilder, and we thought he was like really jive. Like the people in the band, they thought he was kind of a bully. Because I don't think he really liked our music that much. So he'd always come in and goes, hey, what the problem is with you guys? Why don't you sing it like this? Like Joe Cocker. And the guys are looking and go, holy shit. Because he liked those raspy singers. And that's what he would do. He'd come to a rehearsal.
Yeah, like Bruce Springsteen probably, right? Like that type of stuff.
Yeah, or Joe Cocker. So he would come into rehearsal sometimes. Go, yeah, it sucks. You know what I mean? We should sing it like this. Almost like Metallica or something. I said, yeah. And so like they were like a little afraid of him because he was like a bodybuilder and we weighed like 145, 150 pounds. You know what I mean? So, but that was funny. You know, obviously his career did a little better than ours, you know, to say the least. But it was fun, man. You know, listen, I've had like, you know, when I hope people, you know, in Canada get to see the documentary. Of course, you have Amazon, of course.
Yeah, no, for sure. I show my family and I watched it together. We all loved it. It was really
so
well.
I can't believe how much I learned about you in that documentary. I thought it was great.
Well, everyone says that, you know, because, you know, I mean, I think I learned a little bit about myself as well, because if all the people go out there and watch it, it's called Stallone Frank, that is, and it's on Amazon. It's kind of interesting that there's so many people in it. Yeah. And I think Derek did a great job. I mean, he edited it in his bedroom. Talk about no budget. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, Rocky again was porno movie costs more than Rocky, but it's just who's at the helm. You know what I mean?
I gotcha. So what was it like? What was it like for you guys growing up? Because I even I remember reading a story. It said like that your brother had to sell his dog in order to make the movie or something crazy like that. Like, how true is that for you guys?
It is true. No, this was when they were like doing Rocky, a little before Rocky.
Yeah.
He sold Butkus to Jimmy Gambino.
Yeah, Butkus.
Butkus, the little midget guy that's in the movie. And then he got a pang of guilt and he took his dog back. Because I didn't think he did it. And I said, Sly, you know, people are writing to me saying that you sold your dog. And I said, it's a bunch of bullshit. He never said, he goes, no, I did. I said, you serious, man? You sold Butkus? For what? Crazy. Like $50? I said, you must have been really destitute. He goes, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember in the documentary too, there was a story. It said like you lived there was like a hole in the wall, and you snuck in the hole in the wall to live in the room next door and stuff like that. Like, well, yeah,
we had an adjoining wall, my brother and I, but that's not right. I didn't cut a hole. No, but what happened? But we had the rooms. I mean, right next to each other in New York. What happened? I snuck into a vacant apartment because they had like a little refrigerator, and we didn't have a refrigerator. We didn't have anything. So when I did it, I almost fell out the window, cut my arm. So I jumped in to his apartment. And he goes, what are you doing here? I said, cut, you know, bleeding and stuff. I was trying to get you a refrigerator and I was going to take yours.
Oh my God. I mean, it's a free for all. It's a free for all. That's it.
Stupid shit. Yeah. I mean,
that's hilarious.
It's amazing. Once we lived together for a while, and, you know, we were not dirty, we were clean, but we had this giant beach towel that we both would use, you know, all the time. But we didn't think about like taking it to the laundry and washing it. So I said, yeah, we should probably wash this. So we washed it. It disintegrated. That's how long it was being used without being maintained. Oh my God. Like shredded. I said, wow, talk about destitute, man. When you look back, it's, you know, we were ushers in a movie theater. When you look back, it's the process. It's just part of growing up, you know. You'll look back on years and you go, wow, I was doing that, I had this going, you know. It's just a part of growing up, and
it's a part of growing up, part of life and everything,
coming out alive, you know.
I guess I'm just curious like how much that played into role of like, you know, your success, because I mean, even just get on the billboards and you produce like over 200 songs and all these albums, like how do you go from that to like, you know what I mean, making it? Like, did that play a important part in it, you think?
I mean, I'll be honest. If Staying Alive wouldn't have happened, I don't know, it might be a different world. I asked Sly, I said, what would happen if you had never made Rocky? He goes, I would just been like a regular schlepper actor hanging around Hollywood, hoping for a break. Maybe nothing would have happened. You know, he might. Yeah. And same thing. I think, but I always worked as a musician before Staying Alive. So I would have done that, but at a much
lower scale, probably.
Exactly. But you could have,
I mean, in the basement.
Like you said, though, with Staying Alive, like you were told no, like you could have just gave up. You know what I mean? I know Sly too, he could have probably gave up on Rocky after he was being told no. Like you guys kept going. Was it because like just the way you grew up, just, you know what I mean, not having as much money and stuff, that it really give you some more drive, you know?
Yeah, I think it gave me more drive. And I think I thought I was really writing good stuff, you know? So I figured, wow, this stuff's pretty good we're coming up with in the studio. cheap studio, and so, and I would bring the songs in once every few weeks on a cassette, and of course they get rejected. But then when the Bee Gees kind of fell out, there you go. So when they kind of fell out, then it all started happening. But I didn't, it was a shock to me. Believe me, it was a divine intervention. It was a blessing because it could have gone the other way.
Yeah, for sure. And even like something I want to bring up as well, I thought was really interesting that we were talking about before, about like Frank Sinatra, for example. So apparently for him, he was kind of ridiculed and picked on because he was small and skinny, scrawny guy, but he still had the resilience to push and go further and became an icon. So for yourself, like kind of Mike was bringing up with all your success, with all the nominations and all like the success with the songs, what motivates you the most to keep progressing to go further in life in general?
What I think I was never money oriented. I mean, it's okay, but it wasn't the reason I got into music. It was just a calling to do. And I think what motivates me the most is like getting praised by your peers that you respect, stuff like that, and like Frank Sinatra, you have to understand, he was the biggest artist in the world. And then for 8 years, he couldn't get arrested. His career was over. He was ruined. And he came back, he got a shot from here to eternity, won the Oscar, and the rest is history.
That's
so
awesome.
Things can turn around. You never know. I mean, Rocky is that story.
Yeah.
Here's an out of work actor, unknown. All of a sudden, the next thing you know, he's in this movie that's loved by everyone.
Yeah. Well, I just think you have to have it. A lot of times you have to have it within you too. You gotta be a good person. Sometimes in life you can work so hard towards something, but if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, it's not gonna ever happen for you.
Yeah,
no, and a lot of people screw people along the way, and dishonest, and sometimes it comes back and backfires on you. There's ways of going about being successful. Some people are just ruthless; they would sell anyone out. You know what I'm saying? So, and there's other people that aren't. They're just decent people, just trying to make a buck.
Yeah, that's unfortunate too. But Mike, should we tell them the fun activity now?
What's up?
Yeah, I don't care. I know there was another question I was texting you, but just because in your documentary too, I just thought it was interesting how they were talking about you couldn't kind of shed the Sly's brother thing. And like you said, you've been working on your music for that long, and it kind of like, I feel like it helped your music though, but it also like hurt you in that way. And then I know it caused problems with the band and stuff. Like, I just feel like that's a very unique situation.
Well, I still can't shed them. Yeah, how you do?
Hey, look at that. That's awesome. Look at that.
Yeah, what's happening? I mean, I still can't shed them. I mean, if you look over here, you can see.
I see behind you too. You got,
Yeah, look at that. The record.
Yeah, but no, I got a giant full size Rocky 6 foot. It looks just like him. So someone gave it to me. I said, it's classic. I mean, people freak out. They come in and they've never been in before. They go, oh, it's like from like the wax.
You got to send a picture. Send a picture of us. After.
I will. I'll send a picture to you. No, but it's like really. Let's see. I'll send a picture to you, Adam, right now. It's. But this is on my wall. Okay.
That's awesome.
Look, how you do it. This is classic. Okay, I'll send it to you.
That is freaking incredible.
Yeah, but I mean.
But yeah, like, you know what I mean? Did it kind of get you upset at the time? Like, I could see it, but it also helped. It also hurt. Like, it's just kind of a unique situation,
there's a thing, Mike, you can drive yourself crazy with that stuff. Here you go. Watch. I just sent it to you, Adam.
Perfect. Thanks.
And you can probably show it on your thing, but
yeah.
It's huge. I mean, it's actually bigger than he is.
I'm gonna probably, if you don't mind, I'm gonna post this as well, and I'm gonna say.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So there you go. Hey, how you doing? Hey. But then you got the Rocky soundtrack albums up here that I have. So I mean, it's in Staying Alive. But you know what? I'm cool with it. I'm proud of it. It's part of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a part of me, like, growing up, being where I am now. So it kind of saved my life. Not that I was going to jump off a building or anything, but it took it to another level. But as you'll see in the documentary, all things were not well. After all that success, when the movie was done and stuff, went right back to, hey, are you Rocky's brother? Went right, because I thought I was done with that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I thought the Rocky brother thing was toast, but no, it didn't. And that's what happened.
Well, it's glad that we're just
my
glad
hair
that
looked like Bela Lugosi. Jesus Christ. It looks
pull
like,
the strings.
it looks
Pull
like
the
it's it looks like it's blue black. It's not. Hey, you know, baby. I look like what's his name? Jack Nicholson a little bit.
Another day.
Yeah,
Another
for
day.
with the shades. Oh my gosh.
Whether
that's
you
so
see me typing or you do not see me typing.
Look at this guy's an impressionist too.
Yeah,
You do it all.
really.
You do it all.
Yeah, I didn't realize you're good at impressions, man. That's awesome.
I know, that's awesome. Well, Frank, we have something really fun. I was mentioning about an activity.
Okay, go ahead.
Really, really fun and easy. We're gonna call it rapid fire with Frank Stallone. We're gonna ask you 7 or 8 questions here.
Go ahead.
And whatever first comes to mind, you go. So, Mike, we'll go back and forth if you want. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right.
I'll go first. Michael Jackson or Prince?
Neither.
Ooh.
I would say Michael Jackson.
Okay, but you're not a fan of both, eh?
I think Michael Jackson's stuff was a little cooler. Prince he was good. They're both weird. I mean, both.
Well, eccentric, very eccentric. Yeah.
Very eccentric. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Mike, your turn.
All right. What about then Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin? Or I'm gonna throw in Adam. I know you didn't put this, but I'm gonna throw in Tony Bennett too, just because I know he.
Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Best. Okay. Jazz music or rock music?
Rock music.
All right. Singing or playing guitar?
Singing. That's a tough one because I like doing both, but I think I'm probably a better singer than guitar player.
Okay, this is a good one. 80s music or 90s music?
80s.
Good answer.
Sure.
All right. Pasta or pizza?
Oh man, boy, I love pizza. But that's pizza. I mean,
Goodfellas or Casino?
I'd probably Goodfellas. But I think Casino's a really good movie. The more you watch it, there's a lot to it.
People, it's a little bit underappreciated for some reason. I don't know why.
It was
Goodfellas
long when it first came out. It was very long.
Yeah,
but
it also came.
It's really good. Yeah.
I think it also came out at a time when the mob movies were kind of dying out a bit at that time. Before that, it was like The Godfathers and Scarface.
Oh yeah.
You had all those movies, but then Casino was 1995. That was like 5 years after Goodfellas, so it was a little bit, I think, dying out that era. But
what year was Casino?
1995.
95. Got it. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, what else?
Godfather 1 or Godfather 2?
Godfather 2.
Oh, that was a
wow.
quick one.
Yeah,
me too.
Know,
That's my
fast.
answer.
That's harder for me. I don't know.
Well, because you got the court case. I mean, it's so hard to pick the one. I mean, I love them both, but 2, I kind of like, Willie Chichi. Yeah, man, I'm a buffer. I'm a button man. I push the button. Or, or Frankie Five Angels. Corleone this, Michael Corleone and that. I said, we have a signed deposition. But
there's a one line when he goes like, he's like, Chicho, apport. That one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. I mean, 2's good.
I forgot what he said.
Oh, how about Mr. What was his name? The rent stays the same. Remember the guy that Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Joseph or something like that. Remember he was a landlord?
Yeah, that was a good part.
Lady out for the dog.
What do you say that line? He's like, non to keep a
he's trying to get out the door. And De Niro's sitting there looking at him like this. He goes, because he found out who he is.
Yeah. Let's hear another impression. Let's do it.
Andiamo. Chase him away.
Oh,
Frank,
Signor Roberto. Signor Roberto.
When he's trying to get out the door, get fire. Hello. But then he gets that look with the mustache. And by the way, the rent stays the same. And then all of a sudden he's going.
Yeah, that's the best. That's one of the best parts of the movie. Yeah,
she's living for free.
Okay,
$5.
$5.
Freaking parts.
Deci.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Frank, where in Italy is your family from? Like what region?
Bari.
Okay.
That is.
Awesome.
Nice.
Like a town called Gioia da Colle.
I love Barese sausages, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, good. It's good. They're known for where my father's from. They're known for their mozzarella.
Oh,
I love when people go, well, I had some mozzarella. I said, there's no cheese in that.
Mozzarella.
no.
And they do commercials. and it's great with mozzarella. I said, are there any T's in that, or am I just like?
Oh, the best is the mozzarella. It's
Yeah.
a nice fresh mozzarella.
Oh God. Or yeah, here's some capicola. No, it's gabagool. It's like capicola. Or I had this one girl go, well, I like some spaghettis with Parmesan cheese. I go, excuse me?
That's the worst one I've ever heard.
Yeah, Parmesan cheese.
That's the worst one I've ever. I never heard someone
I like
say
some
that.
sketties. No,
Jesus.
it's just like some people are just like, but mozzarella drives you. I said it's not applesauce, mozz. It's like it's mozzarella. What do you mean? There's no MOTT, but you see commercials for Subway, and we have our sub with mozzarella. I said, oh, Christ. I remember once we were in the studio and the guy, they were ordering something like pizza. And this guy there, like one of those big mustaches, like ponytail, like an old hippie. He goes, yeah, I'll get pizza. Can I get some with bell peppers? And we look and go, excuse me? With bell peppers on pizza? It's like out here, pineapple on your pizza.
It's almost as bad. Yeah.
No, if you're a real purist, it's either sausage, pepperoni, or anchovies or something like that.
Well, quick thing too, you know what Italians do as well in Italy, which I thought was so crazy. They put hot dogs and French fries on pizza, and that's their thing. Did you know that?
For real?
Yeah.
Probably tastes great.
I'm from Calabria, and in Calabria, that's what they do. The calabres there.
Did you see it? Did you ever try it?
Never tried it. Yeah, I'm going to Italy next year. I'm definitely going to try it, but it sounds disgusting. But I mean,
I will never go to Calabria because I saw that movie that was called 000. Did you see it?
Oh yeah.
How great is that? My brother even said for him, because he doesn't compliment. He goes, "Hey, you guys see this? It's better than The Godfather." It really is great.
Wow. I gotta watch that one. Do you guys ever do like
really shot really well?
Do you guys ever do like any of the traditions? I know you're a wine guy. Do you ever make wine and stuff like that, or no? You guys never did any of the traditions growing up? The sauce, the wine,
sauce, but not wine. I mean, I like.
I don't do wine either, to be honest. I don't do wine either. Sausages I do sometimes, but.
Well, like when I was a kid, my grandfather was born 1883. He was a barber. But you know what? He came to this country by himself, like the old timers, left the family back there as a barber. But eventually, he ended up owning his own barber shop. So he was,
I was a barber too. Before I was doing this, I was a barber.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, actually, Frank,
he knows his hair, man.
Well, Frank, you know what? I'm actually before we end off, I'll tell you something. October 4th, I'll be down in LA. So maybe I'll bring my some of my stuff. I'll give you a nice little haircut if you want. Or we'll just hang out. Or we'll just hang out anyways.
Yeah, we'll hang out. Are you gonna see Melissa when you come in?
Yeah, I'm hanging out with Melissa and stuff. So maybe me and Melissa will come by. We'll go out for a drink or something.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, but the thing is, everything they made in those days was scratch. My grandmother made her own pasta. I mean, that's how they did it. I never saw my grandmother. First of all, none of them were ever on a plane. None of them drove. Didn't have driver's license. They walked everywhere. And where she would go, if she wanted to go somewhere, one of my aunts would drive her or my father. But they went to the market, squeezed everything, like the whole thing, the tomatoes, this. It's like all day. But that's kind of how it was in Italy, wasn't it? I mean, they just.
I love it, man.
But it was fantastic. I mean, they were nice people. Couldn't speak hardly a word of English. Been here 50 years.
Wow.
Couldn't.
And I can't speak a word of Italian.
There you go. And my grandfather.
Like my grandparents, though, for sure.
Yeah, my grandfather would. He knew our names. Frangin, vieni qui. That's it. Give him a big kiss with that big mustache. But in other words, you couldn't have a conversation. It'd be like talking to hey, Papa, che se dici? If I could say one or two Italian words, he would just kind of look at me because then I was stuck. Because then he starts speaking Italian, done. Like, because they wouldn't let people. I wish they would have, but I came from an era where if you couldn't speak English, you couldn't get a job. So that's why, they didn't have to speak English because all their friends that they hung out with were from the old country. Most of the people came in the barbershop were Italian. But he had the old barbershop with the guy, boot black, shining the shoes while you're in the chair. Razors. Awesome. I remember he used to have those big straight razors. And he's like, I said, you ain't touching me with that, man.
Yeah, no, those are scary for sure.
No, they were great barbers. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had a shave with a straight razor. I mean, someone that knows how to do it, like an old timer, it's actually a great shave, but you got to be pretty steady and know what you're doing.
Mhm.
You know, you don't want to shave someone who you just had on a bender the night before and you got like the shakes.
Imagine.
Oh, God, let me. But I've seen those guys. I'm seriously, when I was a kid, they'd sit there like this. So that razor strop, and they had like a hot foam machine.
Yeah.
And that's it, man. They put you back and or they would trim, like when I was a kid, they'd clean you up with it was great. I mean, barbers were really cool because that was kind of the center hub of the neighborhood because women didn't come in. So it was kind of like a men's club. And they have all the kind of what they called then dirty magazines, like women, like, hey, look at that, you know, or they have sports betting or they bet, you know, and so that's where fathers would bring their son in when he's a kid to get his haircut. And they all knew each other. But it's kind of, but he was kind of like the, you confess all your stories. Like my father was a hairdresser and my grandfather was a barber, but you become like a psychologist after a while.
Yeah, you do.
All the girls are telling, because in those days, it wasn't like it is today where everyone like had their heart on their sleeve, but women would sit there and confess to my father, oh, Mr. Frank, that was his hair salon, J. Frank's hairstylist, right? Oh, Mr. Frank, my husband doesn't sleep with me anymore. My father would go, well, I will. No, but he was terrible. No, he was God rest his soul. He'd been last week he had been 102, but he was a real womanizer, boy. Woof.
Oh man.
I heard later on, I said, you mean he was sleeping with the manicurist? He goes, yeah, and her too, and her. I said, that's wow, man. You know, because being in movies, that's considered like a no-no, like sleeping with people in the cast. But he's from Italy. He's off the boat, you know, and he wasn't like today's hairstyles. All these guys were like World War II guys, like Marines, Army, you know, like big hairy forearms. Yeah, use, you know, because they went on the GI Bill. So he became a hairdresser or barber. So it wasn't like today, okay, Mr. Frank. It wasn't that. It was like, hey, get over here, baby.
Yeah.
It was like Kojak.
I'm sure
part of that's baby.
I'm sure part of that's the Italian thing too. We're a little irresistible, you know what I mean?
Very irresistible. Well, I don't know if he was irresistible, but supposedly he got around pretty good. You know, he was a character. But
I feel you.
But you know, one of those guys worked hard, workaholic, you know, just but everything you have to understand in those days, everything was cash.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like today. It's not like today. Everything in those days was cash. So they said, well, how did he buy a new Cadillac? Because it's all, you know, there were no credit cards.
In Italy, cash, you know, cash, that's it.
Cash, hey, some Zolde. But they would go like this. And then you find out when you're older, because you kind of think like your uncles are beyond reproach because they're your uncles. And then you get like 18, 19, you start bringing like girls home, girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden you go, whoa. You go like this, hey, Frankie, sei un schiaffo. I go, what? But he's sitting there like, you know, like, hey, so Frank, hey, nice, hey, pinga. I said,
yeah, that's what my dad does.
Yeah,
Adam, I've heard you say that before for sure too.
Yeah, what's the word my dad says? Pugnette.
Che cazzo, Franco. And I go, wow, my uncles really are dirty old men. I mean, you don't think of that because you look at my aunts and they're all like 800 pounds. So you got this girl in the 60s coming over, like, you know, braless, like, you know, short Daisy Dukes. Yeah. And then you got your grandfather sitting there, like, with your uncle, like, with the cigarette. Frankie, vieni qui. Se faccia bella, un schiaffo. They always had, either went this way, hey, Franco. Or this way, hey, Franco. Yeah, they had this way, that way.
Everywhere. Like, you can go every direction. That's it.
Then I realized
get the hand gestures
that my grandfather was worse than my father, Slyvester. I said, are you serious? I said, oh, Jesus. I said, Grandpa was like a womanizer. Oh, yes, he was so good looking. So faccia bella. And I said, no, I couldn't believe it. Now you look at him, he's an old guy, like, you know, I see pictures of him when he was young. He was good looking, you know, big mustache and stuff.
The Stallone genes, I'm telling you.
And they said they used to call him the King of Georgetown Avenue. I go, why was that? He goes, because he just had so many affairs. And, you know, my grandmother, God rest her soul, she was like 5'2", like this wide, you know, she had all the kids. So and he was like kind of vain in a way, even when he was old, retired, every day, shirt, just sitting around the house, shirt, tie, dress pants, shiny shoes, but white socks. I don't get that, but maybe that was, but always had a cigarette holder. And he used to smoke like this. He didn't hold it like, he had a cigarette holder and he'd hold it like this. And he'd sit there and he had like the old hearing aid with the wire.
Yeah.
You know? And he would turn it off at dinner because he didn't want to listen to everybody.
That's so
He'd
fun.
sit at the end of the table like this. And he'd go like this during dinner and you would never see him react to anything. I said, what's Specht? He goes, well, he turned his hearing aid off. So he's deaf. He didn't hear anybody. But you know, an Italian meal, everyone's like yelling and talking.
Oh, it's always loud. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
but
it's like
it was an interesting, I mean, I'm the first generation, so it was interesting. You know, I mean, there weren't many Italians where I grew up other than my immediate family. It wasn't like an Italian neighborhood at all. If anything, you know, they're all Metagans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that was cool. I mean, it was kind of cool. It was almost exotic in a way. You know what I mean? Like you know, all of a sudden you go from "How you doing, Dyer?" and then all of a sudden, "Hey, bye." You know, you go to. It's like they were like kind of like Martians in the neighborhood. You know?
Yeah.
And then we had two people. The people that lived next door to us, believe it or not, they were Moroccans. So we had the Italians and the Moroccans, and everyone else was like white bread. So we were kind of looked at like, But they were hard workers, man. I got to give them that. They came over here. They didn't get any assistance. They did their thing. They worked hard, you know.
Yeah. Well, and even you, man, with all the success you've had and all the stuff you do, like it shows that it's in your roots and everything. And honestly, Frank, we just had a great time with you today. And honestly, we want to thank you for even just coming on and giving us.
Oh man, I'll send you if you want. I'll send you some pictures if you want to, because you're probably gonna edit it. If you want some pictures.
Yeah. Send us whatever you want. Send it to me. Yeah.
Well, I got 100%. Some great photos of standing in front of the barber shop, wearing the white jacket. That's
yes.
It. They used to wear the white jacket.
Everything you have, send it to me.
Combs and scissors right here.
That's awesome.
Well,
send it through.
You know, they were very adamant. Those people in those days were very proud of the tradition. So they were either tailors, butcher, or barbers. All right.
Yeah.
And they kind of took it seriously. Like the butcher was one of the most popular guys in the neighborhood too. You come in. We had one guy named Rocky. Believe it or not, the butcher. He was a little guy. Remind me of Joe Pesci. Hey, what do you want here? Yeah, what kind of cut do you want? Don't break my balls, all right? He was one of those guys, but he always had a giant cleaver in his hand, so we were always very polite. We don't want to get him through it once, not at us, but
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, send everything, all the pictures to us, and even your documentary. Everybody watching right now, you can find on Amazon Prime, and make sure to follow Frank Stallone on Instagram.
It's actually free now.
It's free. There you go, guys. So you guys ever watch, it's really, really good. And
highly recommend it for sure.
And they can contact me at Instagram, Frank.Stallone, very hard to find. And because I do answer all my fans and stuff. And awesome. It's the media. You can use the internet for good or whatever, you know?
Yeah. And that's the most important thing.
Listen, guys, I want to thank you. I'm sorry we had so many delays.
No, this was amazing though. It was all worth the wait. 100%.
I really appreciate it. So to all my Canadian friends, I'll be seeing you.
Hey.
Take care, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you again, Frank.
Thanks, brother.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.